Alright, so today I got these in the mail today, which I actually bought them from Suruga-Ya again, which this is the fourth time I ever bought things from them. And I actually bought these during their free shipping campaign. So, first I'm going to show you the books. First off, here's Saki Volume 3, which I already have the first two volumes. I'm going to show you some pages. Here's Volume 1 and Volume 2. Here's Tonkatsu Dejagataro Volume 2. Which, of course, I bought this manga because I do love this series called Tonkatsu Dejagataro. And I highly recommend checking this series out if you haven't yet. It's about a DJ who came across... It's about a tonkatsu owner who came across a DJ, and he wants to become one. So his inspiration is cooking tonkatsu and being a DJ. So I highly recommend checking that series out if you haven't yet. Here's Greg no Daminiki, Mo Ganman de Kinai, or The Last Straw, which I already have a Japanese copy of the first After Wimpy Kid, which I have it right here. So yeah, I got that one today. Now for the CDs. First, here's Gorillaz, which I've always wanted a Gorillaz CD for a very long time. Well, ever since the Demon Days album was new. And now I have a Japanese copy of their debut album. So here's the disc. And the insides. Here's Lucky 7 by Chisato Moritaka. So here's the disc. And here's the picture. Also, this actually came with this CD protector inside the case. Here's Step by Step by Chisato Moritaka. Well, I already have 3 Chisato Moritaka CDs, and now I have 5 of them in my collection so far. So here's the disc and the spine card. Here's Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest, which, of course, I bought this CD because I think this is actually one of Tribe Called Quest's best album they ever made. So here's the disc and the spine card. Here's Tribes, Vibes, and Scribes by Incognito, which I've always wanted an Incognito CD ever since I got into their music back in 2019. And now I have a Japanese copy of this album. So here's the disc and the songs included. Here's Positivity by Incognito, which I think this is their best album, along with Tribes, Vibes, and Scribes. In fact, a lot of Incognito's albums are the best. So here's the disc and the spine card. Here's Paper Driver's Music by Kirinji, which I've always wanted a Kirinji CD in my collection ever since I got into their music back in 2020. Well, I first heard their music from We Love Katamari without even knowing them. But now I know who's sung the song that's from We Love Katamari. So here's the disc and the spine card. Here's the Far Side. Bizarre Ride 2 by the Far Side, which this is actually a rare Japanese copy. Well, I said rare because there's not that many copies floating around the internet right now. So here's the disc. And here's Homework by Daft Punk, which of course I also always wanted a Daft Punk CD in my collection. And now I have the Japanese copy of Homework. So here's the disc, and here's the songs. Now for the PSP games. First, here's Burnout Dominator, the Japanese version. So here's the UMD and the manual. Here's Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix, which is also a Japanese copy. So here's the UMD and the manual. Here's Fuku no Shima, which looks kind of like Animal Crossing, as I saw gameplays of it. So here's the UMD and the manual. Here's Saki Portable, which I've always been wanting this PSP game for years, and now I have it in my collection. So here's the UMD and the manual. And here's Namco Museum, which is also the Japanese version. So here's the UMD and the manual, which that's actually some pretty cool cover art and a pretty cool disc art. And last but not least, here's the DVDs. First, here's Team America World Police. So here's the disc and the other slipcover and the index. Here's Monsters, Inc., which I remember this being my first movie I ever watched on DVD when I was a little kid. And now I have a Japanese copy of it. So here's the disc and the index. Here's the Simpsons Film Festival, which I already have a Japanese copy of the Bart Wars DVD, and now I have a Japanese copy of this DVD. So here's the disc and the cards. And here's what's inside this Gurren Lagann box, this cool looking Gurren Lagann box. Here's Gurren Lagann Volume 2. So here's the disc. Put it back. Here's Greg no Dominiki, or Diary of the Wimpy Kid. So here's the disc and the promo for The Ugly Truth. Here's Najiga Blitz Tactics Volume 1, which Najiga is a pretty cool anime that I recommend checking out. So here's the disc and the index. And last but not least, here's Happy Tree Friends Volume 2, Second Serving, which is my second Happy Tree Friends DVD I ever owned in my collection. So here's the disc and the index. Also, here's a nice view of the box, of this Gurren Lagann box. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Well, just want to show you what I got in the mail today from Suruga-Ya. So that's all for right now, and thanks for watching.